While most people are panic buying toilet paper and snacks during emergencies, the smart preppers are quietly stockpiling these 5 foods that could literally mean the difference between life and death. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to reveal the exact 5 survival foods that civilizations have relied on for centuries. Foods so powerful they can keep you fed, healthy, and strong for months on just a few dollars. Stick around until the end, because I'll also show you the storage secrets that can make a $25 investment feed your family for 30 years. Welcome to Prep Pantry, where we cut through the survival industry nonsense and focus on what actually works. If you're ready to build a bulletproof food storage system without breaking the bank, hit that like button and subscribe for more no-nonsense prepping content. Let's be brutally honest here. When disaster strikes and the systems we rely on break down, survival isn't about having a pantry full of gourmet options or a shelf lined with endless snacks. It's about strategy. Most of what people panic buy in emergencies is dead weight. It spoils quickly, runs out fast, and offers little return when you need it most. The harsh truth is that if you lock down the right 5 foods, you cover your bases for calories, nutrition, and endurance. Anything else is just clutter. Miss even one of these and you'll feel the difference. Nail all 5 and you'll outlast the chaos while others burn through their emergency snacks. So let's dive into the first food that separates real preppers from weekend warriors. Rice isn't just another food item, it's the dividing line between those who are truly prepared and those who are just playing at prepping. You can have all the gear, fancy meal kits, and tactical supplies you want, but if you don't have rice, you're not prepping, you're cosplaying. Here's why rice is absolutely unstoppable. It's cheap, effective, and built empires. This is the foundation of civilizations, the crop that fed armies and sustained entire populations. In a survival scenario, rice is the ultimate force multiplier. Pair it with our next food and you've got a complete protein. Add some canned vegetables and you have a full meal. Even with just oil and salt, rice can carry you through weeks of hardship. Let me break down the math that actually matters. A 50-pound bag of rice costs around $25 and provides thousands of calories. Real survival calories, not the snack energy you get from overpriced protein bars. When you do the calorie per dollar calculation, rice obliterates 99% of survival foods on the market. In a disaster, those people with their $300 meal kits will be starving after 5 days, while rice stockpilers will still be eating comfortably weeks later. But survival isn't just about calories, it's about morale. In crisis mode, food becomes more than fuel. It's comfort and security. A hot plate of rice feels like a real meal, tricks your brain into feeling safe, and boosts morale when everything else is falling apart. Compare that to choking down another bland survival bar, and it's clear who will break first mentally. Now, here's the storage secret that turns rice into a generational investment. Just tossing a sack into the pantry isn't enough. Rice stored wrong will betray you to bugs, moisture, and rot. The formula for long-term storage is simple. Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, and food-grade buckets. Done right, that $25 sack becomes a 30-year survival investment. Rice you buy today can literally outlive you and still feed your grandchildren. And here's something most people don't realize. Rice prices are rising globally due to droughts, wars, and export bans. One more global shock, and rice could double in price overnight. In a crisis, you won't just be unable to afford more, you'll be fighting desperate crowds for a bag that costs twice as much. The quiet preppers who stock rice now will be calm, full, and unbothered when chaos hits. But rice alone won't cut it. That's where our second essential comes in. If rice is the backbone, beans are the muscle, the raw power that turns starch into a survival machine. Beans are not optional, they're non-negotiable. Without beans stacked next to your rice, your prep stash is just a Pinterest project. Here's what makes beans revolutionary for survival. They replace meat. When you combine beans with rice, you get the same complete protein profile as steak, chicken, or fish without needing refrigeration, hunting, or any of the complications that come with animal protein. Civilizations have thrived for centuries on beans and rice, while those chasing luxury proteins often starved. Most modern preppers make rookie mistakes by loading up on chips, candy, sugary cereals, and overpriced jerky. Meanwhile, beans fill you up, fuel you steadily for hours, and keep you moving when everything else runs out. Now, you have 2 strategic options with beans. Dry beans are your long-haul arsenal. Stored properly in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, they can last 20 to 30 years. That's not just food, it's generational wealth in edible form. But dry beans require soaking time and cooking fuel. Canned beans offer instant convenience. No soaking, no extra fuel, no waiting. In a blackout scenario, canned beans mean you're eating full meals while others wait for the power to come back. The trade-off is shorter shelf life and higher cost per serving. But the convenience factor can be life-saving. Here's the economics that terrify the survival food industry. A pound of dry beans costs $1 to $2 and provides 6 to 8 hearty servings. That's real protein for less than 20 cents a meal. Even canned beans at under $1 per can absolutely destroy those $300 emergency meal kits in terms of value. And just like rice, beans are facing market pressure. Prices for lentils, chickpeas, pintos, and black beans have spiked 15 to 20% due to droughts, shipping shortages, and political chaos. When the next major disruption hits, beans will vanish off store shelves faster than toilet paper during the pandemic. The bottom line is this: beans are the muscle in your survival body. Rice alone will keep you alive. Rice plus beans will keep you thriving. Together, they form the greatest food alliance in human history. If your pantry doesn't include them in bulk, your preparation plan isn't worth the shelf it sits on. But we're not done yet. The third essential food is one that most people completely overlook. Oats are the underdog of survival food, ignored, shrugged off, and left behind on store shelves while people grab flashier options. But when disaster strikes, those who stocked oats in bulk will have light, fast, steady fuel, while others burn half a day's propane just to make their beans edible. Most people prep like children when it comes to breakfast, loading up on sugary cereals and comfort foods that offer a quick sugar rush, and then a crash. In survival, you need fuel that carries you through hard physical work, not just a dopamine hit. Oats provide steady energy for hours, not minutes. Here's where oats become incredibly versatile. They're not just for oatmeal. Oats are a blank canvas, sweet with honey, fruit, or milk powder, savory with broth, bouillon, or canned meat. You can grind them into flour for bread, tortillas, or pancakes, add them to soups to bulk out calories and make everything more filling. Oats adapt to whatever you have and stretch your entire pantry without bloating it with unnecessary items. But here's the efficiency factor that makes oats brilliant. Survival isn't just about food, it's about fuel conservation. Rice and beans are fantastic, but they require significant time, water, and energy to cook properly. In a world where firewood, propane, and clean water become precious resources, that's a serious liability. Oats need only a splash of hot water and they're ready in minutes. In absolutely desperate times, you can even eat oats raw and still get nutritional value. For storage, regular rolled oats will last 1 to 2 years in your pantry as is. But stored properly, in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, they can last up to 10 years. Steel cut oats and whole oat groats can last 20 to 30 years if stored correctly. The key is sealing them in smaller vacuum-packed portions so you don't compromise your entire stash every time you need some. Economically, oats are almost unfair to other breakfast options. A 42-ounce container costs under $5. That's weeks of breakfast for pocket change. You're eating real, sustained fuel for under 50 cents per meal, compared to those $12 survival breakfast bars or $300 emergency food buckets. The value becomes crystal clear. But here's the warning. Oats prices have already spiked 15% in some regions due to droughts and shipping chaos. Grain markets are fragile. One major war, export ban, or natural disaster, and oats will disappear from shelves just like everything else. The bottom line on oats, they're survival gold. Fast, light, versatile, filling, and fuel efficient. They keep you mentally sharp, energy steady, and ready to outwork the competition. Ignore oats in your prep, and you'll regret it the first morning you wake up hungry with no fuel to spare for cooking. Now let's talk about the fourth essential that literally holds civilization together. Flour isn't just food, it's civilization in powder form. If your survival stash doesn't include flour or wheat berries, you're not surviving with dignity, you're just suffering through it. Flour is about way more than calories. It's about morale. And in survival situations, morale is as critical as clean water. Lose morale, and people quit. Flour keeps you in the mental fight. Here's the transformation power of flour. It turns survival scraps into actual meals. Beans by themselves are honestly pretty miserable to eat day after day. But beans with fresh tortillas, that's a feast. Getting tired of plain oats? Mix in some flour, and you've got pancakes. Even with no yeast or baking powder, flour transforms into flatbreads that travel well, fill your stomach, and remind you what normal food feels like. With proper leavening agents like yeast or baking powder, you can create biscuits, bannock bread, survival loaves, and other foods that make you feel human again in the middle of chaos.
These aren't just calories, they're psychological anchors to normalcy. Now, flour does present storage challenges. A regular 10-pound bag sitting in your pantry will go rancid or get infested with bugs within a year. Serious preppers seal flour in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers to stretch its life to 5 years or more. But for true long-term storage, the smart money is on wheat berries. That's whole wheat in its raw, unprocessed form. Stored properly in food-grade buckets with oxygen absorbers, wheat berries can last literal decades. When you need flour, you grind it fresh, which gives you more nutritious and better tasting flour than pre-ground flour that's been sitting around. The economics of flour are almost ridiculous. Right now, you can get a 10-pound bag for $5 to $7. That's literally pennies per serving, less than a quarter for a stack of tortillas, or about 50 cents for a family-sized loaf of bread. Compare that to those $300 emergency food buckets. They give you powdered slop, and the value becomes crystal clear. But here's the warning. Wheat prices have spiked double digits in the last 2 years due to droughts, fertilizer shortages, and export bans from major producing countries. That $5 bag of flour could easily cost $15 or $20 soon, assuming you can even find it. When real food shortages hit, bread is historically the first thing people riot over. It's happened in every major crisis throughout history. The bottom line on flour, it's not optional. For serious preparedness, it's mandatory. It stretches your other food supplies, keeps morale alive during dark times, and transforms basic survival into dignified living. Without flour, you're just scraping by. With it, you maintain dignity and hope. But even with all 4 of these foods, you're still missing something critical that could literally kill you. Carbohydrates and protein will carry you for a while, but without fat in your diet, you're actually doomed. Your brain, body, and hormone systems all collapse without adequate fat intake. History even has a specific name for this condition: rabbit starvation.
You can literally starve to death eating nothing but lean meat and grains if fat is missing from your diet. This is where peanut butter becomes the wild card that separates those who think they're prepared from those who actually understand survival nutrition. Peanut butter is survival gold. It's calorie-dense, versatile, and psychologically comforting all at once. A single spoonful contains nearly 200 calories of fat, protein, and pure satisfaction. One jar can carry you through a full day of hard physical labor without even touching your stove or using any cooking fuel. In repetitive survival meals, peanut butter becomes both fuel and comfort food. Spread it on hot flat bread fresh off your cooking surface, stir it into your morning oatmeal for richness, or mix it into beans to create richer, more filling meals that actually satisfy you. When you're on the move or don't have access to cooking, peanut butter requires zero preparation. Just open the jar and eat. For storage, peanut butter significantly outperforms most other fat sources. Oils often go rancid within months of opening, but a sealed jar of peanut butter can easily last 1 to 2 years, often much longer if stored in a cool, dark place. For survival purposes, the processed, shelf-stable versions are actually better than the natural oil separating types. If peanuts aren't an option due to allergies, almond butter, sunflower seed butter, or tahini can substitute, though none quite match peanut butter's combination of cost, calories, and storage stability. Various cooking oils like olive or coconut can supplement your fat intake, but peanut butter remains the anchor. Here's something most people don't consider: barter value. In a survival economy, everyone will have rice and beans if they prepared at all, but not everyone will have fat sources. That scarcity turns peanut butter into actual currency. In tough times, a jar of peanut butter can be traded for medicine, candles, fresh produce, or other necessities. Its value comes from both its nutritional necessity and the massive morale boost it provides. Economically, peanut butter is almost unfairly efficient. A 16-ounce jar costs $2 to $4 and delivers close to 3,000 calories. That's less than 15 cents per 100 calories of high-quality nutrition. But peanut crops are under increasing strain, with prices already up nearly 10% in the last year due to droughts and rising production costs. When the next crisis hits, peanut butter will vanish from shelves just like everything else. The bottom line, peanut butter isn't just food. It's a survival tool, comfort source, calorie bomb, and barter item all rolled into one. It gives your body what it literally can't live without, lifts your spirits during dark times, and provides ready-to-eat energy when you need it most. Stock up now, and you'll be eating well when others are scraping the bottom of their last can. So now you know the 5 essentials, but let me tie this all together for you. Building a real survival stash isn't about filling shelves with random junk. It's about locking down these specific essentials that actually keep you alive and thriving. Most people waste hundreds of dollars on snacks and gimmicky survival products only to watch them spoil or disappear quickly when things get serious.
The people who stick to these 5 foods, rice, beans, oats, flour or wheat, and peanut butter, will be steady, well-fed, and mentally strong when everyone else is scrambling. These aren't nice-to-have additions to your pantry, they're the absolute bare minimum line between thriving and barely scraping by. Once supply chains break down, no amount of regret will put them back on store shelves. Here's your action plan. Start with proper storage materials. Invest in Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, and food-grade buckets. These aren't expensive, but they transform short-term groceries into decades-long investments. Look for bulk purchasing opportunities, especially during harvest seasons when prices drop. Don't rely on just one store or supplier. Diversify your sources. Monitor market trends and stock up when prices are reasonable. Every one of these foods has already experienced significant price increases, and that trend will only accelerate. The time to act is while these foods are still readily available and relatively affordable. For variety and morale, add basic spices, salt, and some canned vegetables or fruits to supplement your core stash. A little honey or sugar goes a long way for both energy and psychological comfort. But remember, these are supplements to your foundation, not replacements for it. Most importantly, understand that survival doesn't start in some underground bunker. It starts in your pantry right now, with smart decisions about what you stock and how you store it. These 5 foods cover every nutritional base you need: calories from rice and oats, complete proteins from rice and beans together, essential fats from peanut butter, and the psychological comfort of real bread from flour. They're cheap, they're effective, and most importantly, they work when everything else fails. While others are paying premium prices for fancy meal kits that taste like cardboard, you'll be eating satisfying, nutritious meals that actually fill you up and keep you going. The choice is simple. Prepare intelligently now with these proven essentials, or join the desperate crowds fighting over scraps when the next crisis hits. The smart money is on preparation, and preparation starts in your pantry. Don't wait for disaster to force your hand. Start building your bulletproof food storage system today. If this video helped you understand what real food security looks like, smash that like button and subscribe to Prep Pantry for more practical survival wisdom that actually works. Stay smart, stay prepared, and remember, survival starts in your pantry.